Hello, I'm Emily Elias.
And I'm Tom Wiggins, and this is Desert Island Dips, the podcast where we pit condiment against condiment and ask, if you were trapped on a desert island, which 5 dips would you take with you?
So currently, ketchup, brown sauce, English mustard, burger sauce, and barbecue sauce are all on the island, basking in the sunshine, spoiling.
Not the ones that need to be kept in a cool, dark place.
Doing what they're condimenting.
Actually, on this island, probably the laws that you need to follow to keep condiments fresh, we can get rid of those, can't we? We can just have them
however they want to hang out in the sun.
Time. Yeah.
This episode is about the big red cock, Sriracha.
That is low. I didn't think we were going to get to this level this early.
Is this explicit? There's a rooster on the bottle.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, that's exactly what you meant. Yeah, that's why you wrote that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about it? Are you a Sriracha fan? Are you a Sriracha fan?
Yeah, I'm not as crazy about it as everyone else in the world seems to be. Because there was a time where it was almost literally everywhere. Just splashed on the pavements. Anywhere you walked in somewhere, they'd just splash it in your face. And I thought that was a bit over the top.
And then after the great lawsuit of Sriracha in the eyeballs,
Sriracha versus Wiggins,
2017, you were like, I'm comfortable with where Sriracha is now on the condiment.
I think it's been put back in its place slightly. Things haven't gone too. I think it was people took it out of hand. It was
I think there's like a fervent fandom for Sriracha.
Oh, absolutely.
And it is really in your face. And there are dedicated Sriracha heads. I don't know what you call them.
This definitely qualifies. The guacamole episode, we talked about the first wave of new hipster condiments. Sriracha is absolutely at the vanguard of the first wave. It was one of the first ones. I think I might even say that was the first hipster condiment, Sriracha. The way that it was sort of... really they really took it to heart, and that it was like you'd go in like a little Ponzi cafe, and if they didn't have, they would always have Sriracha. I'll say if they didn't have it, there was no way they wouldn't have it. They all had it, and it just became a bit of a thing.
Well, do you want to know where this thing all started?
Absolutely. I want to know why this happened. So
Sriracha is basically a really simple sort of paste of chilies, vinegar, garlic, sugar, salt. Mm-hmm. It's named after the region in Thailand where it's from. So it's a sleepy little seaside town where people would have lots of seafood and they would put this Sriracha sauce on it. Mm-hmm. So there's kind of 2 stories about who invented it. I feel like with any good condiment, there's a lot of people who want to take credit for it. Yeah. So
why wouldn't you?
Yeah. So let's go with story 1.
Okay.
Story 1 is it was made by this Thai woman named Thana...
Come on, get the pronunciation out.
Thanom Chakapak?
I almost thought there was someone from Thailand in the room then when you said that.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect Thai pronunciation. So 80 years ago, she just started making this sauce in her kitchen for her friends and family. They loved it. Mm-hmm. It spread. She decided to make it commercially. And it's still sold today. It's called Sriracha Panich. And if you see a Sriracha bottle where the Sriracha is spelled with a J in it,
right,
that is her sauce.
Okay.
Basically, the Thai alphabet doesn't really translate very well to English. So some of the letters just kind of get...
different spellings of it, things like in the way that hummus and
exactly
Mecca and stuff.
Not everything was designed for
spelled differently.
A Latin Roman alphabet.
Yeah.
So that's kind of story 1. So the other version of the story is that the sauce was made in Sriracha, mm-hmm. but by Burmese sawmill workers who were kind of working over there. They really liked the sauce. Everybody in Sriracha kind of caught on to it, and then it just kind of spread from there. Mm-hmm. So
do you know what? I think I've heard that before. So I'm not saying that that's definitely true.
There's dueling stories of the origin of it, but everybody agrees that it is not called Sriracha sauce without having some sort of connection to the Sriracha region.
Yeah.
Which is kind of when you think about like a popular condiment. There are variations of like
course.
barbecue sauce. There are regional variations. It's the
The
same.
burger sauce last time we
Yeah.
heard about the different versions. Yep.
It's the same, but just with sriracha sauce.
Mustard, vinegar. It's kind of, I think that's a trend throughout the condiment story,
But
and
like,
condiment as a whole, is
Yeah.
that you get different regional variations.
I guess the stories from Thailand are, these are like women who made these sauces in an entrepreneurial way, then started these businesses. Amazing. I love that. The sauce that you are probably most familiar with is made by Huy Fong Foods.
Okay.
That is the sriracha in the like red bottle with the rooster on it and the green on the top.
Yeah.
Now, that sauce has its own like history to it. Basically, I watched a documentary about it on Vimeo made by this guy named Griffin Hammond, and I want to give him credit. And he interviewed the man who his recipe belongs in that sauce, named David Tran, and he's just like this super adorable like guy who just wants people to love his sauce.
Don't we all?
He is amazing. So basically, Tran was born in Vietnam and he started making the sauce in 1975. His brother was a chili farmer, so he had easy access to it. Then in 1978, the Vietnamese government started to crack down on minority Chinese that were living within Vietnam, and Tran belonged to that group.
Okay.
So he had to flee. So he got into a boat called the Huy Fong, which was a freighter, and they were heading towards Hong Kong to like seek asylum, and they were stuck on the boat for like a month in a standoff with British authorities.
Who wouldn't let them in?
Yeah, they were like, you can't come into Hong Kong, and it was just this sort of like international like debacle. And like in the documentary, it's actually cool because you get to see pictures of the boat. Like they did a really good job getting the archive footage of it. Anyway, so David Tran is on this boat, and as soon as he gets off, he actually is granted asylum in the United States. So he ends up in California. And it's in the 1980s, and he notices there's sort of like this explosion of Asian food restaurants, and like pho is becoming a big thing in Chinese places. And he is like, oh, one thing they're missing on all of their tables is sriracha sauce. And he knows how to make it. So he just like makes a deal with a farmer that this farmer is going to grow him some chilies. And he's held that deal to this day. And that one farmer makes all the chilies for sriracha.
I like that he's kept that guy on. That's good. That is nice.
And he originally...
Good guy.
And he originally was just like so passionate about making the sauce. He was like in his kitchen spooning it into the bottles.
Must have been a bloody nightmare.
Yeah. Can you imagine? And...
What a mess he'd make.
Oh, just like the time. If he was just like... He was so like
I suppose you'd get a funnel, wouldn't you?
Well...
Yeah.
Committed to the sauce, and he like really built it up like from the ground up, and it has expanded like exponentially. So you have this Chinese Vietnamese man making a Thai sauce in California.
Yeah.
And he's never paid a dime for advertising because he's never had time to advertise.
That's brilliant though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Never had to advertise it. It's just gone completely on word of mouth.
It is a complete word of mouth story. And he was like, in the film, he was really adorable about it. It was just kind of like, if I could have had time to figure out, but I was too busy just trying to like scale up my operation to meet the need.
I mean, now you say it, I've never ever seen, for a sauce that's that popular, you would expect that someone would have gone, well, we can make it even more popular if we start advertising it. But I've never seen obviously I've never seen an advert because there is no advert to see. So, or
even like the merch that you see people wearing, like, a Sriracha t-shirt or like, it's very DIY.
That's
like,
unofficial.
Yeah. And it's not like something that the company's necessarily pumping out. Like they're just concerned about making the sauce. And that's pretty much it. Last year was actually the first year that the Huy Fong Foods Sriracha sauce was actually sold in Thailand. How weird is that?
Blimey, it's taken that long to sort of get back home.
Yeah. And in 2012, they sold over 20 million bottles of the stuff.
David Tran must be doing an okay money-wise.
He has kept it a family business, and his like daughter's son is very involved, and like they're upscaling, and they were just in the film they were talking about like opening this new factory.
But that's good. I'm only thinking of the story of the barbecue sauce guy from a couple of episodes ago who like made like a few $100s or whatever it was off of the the avocado guy. Sorry, Hass Avocados. Yeah. Who like only got like not much money off that, but the market was worth like $80 billion or whatever it was.
He is the rock star in the Sriracha world, but you don't know who he is. So he like goes to these Sriracha festivals, and people have no idea that he's the man,
the dream
that everybody like is fantasizing. He's
basically
over his sauce.
He's like the Elvis of hot sauce, but nobody recognizes him when he walks among his people.
And what I thought was really a really cute detail is he gets voicemails from people from all over the world, because there's a number on the bottle that you can call if you have any like complaints, and it's just voicemails of people saying how much they love his sauce, and he's actually posted them online. Would you like to listen to some?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Hi there, how you doing? This is Texas calling.
Hello,
We
Texas.
bought some of that Sriracha, and we love it. Thank you very much, and we love this hot chili sauce. It's outstanding. You changed my life forever. I love this stuff. I even rub it on my balls sometimes, just so I can feel something. I just want to feel awesome when I rub it on my balls. It's awesome. I put it on everything, even pizza, and my balls.
So that was difficult to hear what he was saying, but was he saying what I think he was?
Yes, he was saying that he...
Stop him talking. He rubs it on his testicles.
Yes, that's what he was saying. It was hard to make out. He rubs it on his balls.
That wasn't one of the uses that I think they had in mind, was it, when they made it?
No, but I think I love him for keeping that voicemail message. That guy was clearly drunk.
That's one of the ones that you'd go, do you know what? I'm not going to put that one online because that's a bit weird. But he went, well, you know, if that's how people are... there are other people out there maybe that he thinks could benefit from learning that it is possible to use Sriracha in that way.
Of all the condiments that I would put on my imaginary balls...
It's not Sriracha.
I don't think I would. I think it would be painful.
Well, I mean, this is what I was going to point out. When your balls are imaginary, as yours are,
yes,
then you don't necessarily understand what that would feel like. And I don't think even if you haven't done it, I don't think you're going to understand what it feels like. And I'm not admitting to doing this, by the way, just to be clear. So that
I once had a horrible instance where
hang on, where's this going to go?
Oh, super. Well, it's a weird story.
Well, you got to tell it now.
So, I was making like guacamole at a former boyfriend's house. And I had cut all the chilies up and then forgot that I had cut the chilies up, and I touched my eyes. And because I was wearing contact lenses, it was like trapped on my eyeball, and I was like blinded, and I was freaking out because it hurt. I couldn't see. I thought I was like damaging myself. And so this ex-boyfriend was like, "Oh, I'll grab some milk. Like, get in the shower, and I'll grab some milk." And I'll pour it on your eyes. And I wasn't thinking clearly. So I just got like totally naked. And I'm feeling...
I bet when people started listening to this episode, they did not expect it to come to this position.
No, I didn't either. So I'm in this shower and he was pouring milk into my eyes, which was then running down my body. In this weird sort, like,
This is a weird ritual that you insist on performing with your partners.
It was not romantic. It was an...
Oh, really? That surprises me.
Ugh, the scenes. But yeah, I can only imagine putting Sriracha on my balls would be as...
Sorry, your imaginary balls.
My imaginary would be
spicy. Would be quite invigorating.
It'd be
possibly.
like reliving that story over and over again.
Going back to the whole putting your number on the bottle thing, we were in a pub in Brighton once, and someone bought some pork scratchings, and there was just a mobile number on the back that said, if you've got any questions or comments about our product, call this number or whatever. So everyone around the table in the pub, there was quite a few of us, we all just sent the number random text messages, and the guy was not happy because he was nothing to do with those pork scratchings. Someone had just put a random mobile number on the back of their pork scratchings because clearly they weren't interested in feedback from their customers.
Do you think that maybe it was one of his friends? It's like a
Possibly.
big prank?
Yeah, but I mean, he never said, "Oh, I think I know who's done this. It's my mate Gary who makes pork scratchings."
At the pork
He was
scratching
just
factory.
like,
"Oh man, that would
leave me alone,"
suck.
basically. So it's not as, I mean, it's not common, but it's not as rare as perhaps you might think.
Well, if you decide that you want to call Huy Fong
Are you
Foods
gonna put the number on?
Incorporated, they have the access to
it's
the internet.
printed on the.
Yeah, it's on the bottle.
Yeah.
You can do it and leave a lovely voice message for David Tran. He'll listen to it. If it's of any sort of entertainment value, he'll keep it for forever and post it on the website.
Yeah, if you come up with some use of his source that's more depraved than that gentleman that we listened to a minute ago, maybe you'll get mentioned on a podcast. Not this one though, because we've already recorded the episode, so it's too late, I'm afraid.
But people are crazy for sriracha. So
Absolutely.
Well,
there's two messages there that prove that.
In Seattle, this past December, a 29-year-old man was arrested after an altercation in a pizza place over sriracha.
What exactly was the issue?
So according to the Seattle Police Blotter, officers responded to a call at 2:15 a.m. A woman in Capitol Hill who claimed that the employees of a pizza restaurant were yelling at her and calling her names because she complained that they didn't have a sufficient amount of sriracha sauce. When the police arrived at the restaurant, however, another drama was unfolding. The disgruntled sriracha customer had left with her friend, but was attacked by a 29-year-old man who threw a garbage can at her friend and was hitting them in the legs. The man who threw the garbage can was arrested for assault, and according to police reports, the woman was nonplussed about the arrest, preferring to keep insisting that bringing up the sriracha issue with the officers as they conducted
thought it was a crime.
Yes.
Enough about the assault. What about the lack of sriracha in that restaurant?
Seattle.
If professional wrestling, I mean, I'm not really I've never really watched it extensively.
And clearly you're looking to me as some sort of authority.
No,
You've come to the right place.
Garbage cans, as they're called in North America, you can throw them at people and it's fine. Don't worry about it. It doesn't hurt.
Have you ever watched backyard wrestling videos?
Yeah, but this is slightly different.
I think garbage cans hurt and thumbtacks hurt.
Well, yeah, I know.
If you are not familiar with backyard wrestling, I encourage you to go on a YouTube adventure if you have an hour of your life to kill.
Watch The Wrestler, that Mickey Rourke film.
Oh, horrific.
Grim, innit? Sriracha does not feature in wrestling normally, though, does it? This is probably one of the first use. I mean, this wasn't wrestling as such. It was street fighting.
It was an assault.
Which is not funny, of course. Assault is not funny. When it's over sriracha.
When you're
did he explain why the guy just turned up with a trash can and hit them with it?
I think he just probably picked up the trash can off the street and threw it at them.
Yeah, but why was he doing that?
She seemed nonplussed about it.
Yeah.
Sriracha has made it into a very prestigious place in this past year. Mm-hmm. The dictionary.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the word sriracha was included in the 2017 dictionary.
Because it's not a brand, it's a sauce.
It's a sauce.
A general sauce.
It's a general sauce.
Yeah.
Made it in with the other word, froyo. Not a fan of froyo.
It's not a condiment. We shouldn't be talking about it.
McDonald's is also a big fan of sriracha. Because,
really?
it's become...
See, I mean, that says everything about how popular it is, but it also says everything about how there might be potential backlash against sriracha if it becomes, I mean, you'll have to tell me more of this story, but if it becomes that accepted that it's available in McDonald's, what does that say for the original condiment hipsters that enjoyed sriracha from the start? Okay,
well, this is the story. So last summer, apparently, in America, they launched a limited edition menu item that was on the blogs called the Millennial Burger.
Ah, for God's sake.
Because the millennials ruin everything. And it was a burger that had a sriracha Big Mac sauce and kale in it.
Oh, kale.
Ugh. I'm not going to McDonald's for kale.
The last thing I want to find there. So they did a Big Mac sauce that had sriracha in it.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a good job we did these two. We did burger sauce last week when we talked about Big Mac sauce, and now we're doing this one. They have dovetailed perfectly, haven't they?
Which brings me to a little thing I like to do at McDonald's. So in the UK, they have this
Has
burger.
it got anything to do with touching your eyes with chilies and then pouring milk on yourself naked?
No, it was having your 2-week-old boyfriend pour milk on you naked.
2 weeks. 2 weeks old?
Yeah.
Too young for you.
No. The relationship was 2 weeks old. Okay, this is what I like to do at McDonald's. So in the UK, they have this burger on the Pound Saver menu. For £1, you get a chicken mayo. We don't have it. It's called a junior chicken in Canada. So
Right.
it's like basically like a smaller McChicken. And
Or
it's like,
chicken sandwich, but smaller.
So it's like
I like those.
Yeah,
It's
so
one of the good places for mayo.
great. So it's got your mayo, you got your lettuce, you got your chicken, small bun. Great. I like to put sriracha in that.
What, so you'd buy that and bring it home, or you'd have sriracha with you? Do you
No.
carry sriracha with you at all times?
Which brings us to our gift, Tom Wiggins.
Is this the moment?
This, I brought you a gift.
And it's so beautifully wrapped in a grey plastic envelope with the label still on it. But thanks very much. I'm opening it, as you can probably tell by the rustling sounds. This is... Oh! Is this like what Beyonce has?
Yeah. I
She's
bought
got
you some hot sauce in your bag.
Is that right? I don't really know anything about Beyonce, but I know about that. Oh, that's amazing. Look at that.
I bought you a keychain
with
sriracha.
with a carabiner clip on it, so you
that
can attach it to your belt.
So next time you're at McDonald's and you order your chicken mayo, you can have your hot sauce, your sriracha with you, and just squeeze it on your burger.
It's called Sriracha to go. That's amazing. Well, I'm going to enjoy that very much. Thank you.
1.69 fluid ounces of sriracha.
Life is short. Keep it spicy, it says on the back, which, I'd agree with.
Happy birthday.
Drip it in. Thanks. Is this early birthday or late
I think
birthday?
so. Weird fun fact about...
Or maybe late Christmas?
Well, fun fact.
Because I want another present for my birthday.
We share the same birthday.
Of course, yeah.
Which is... We didn't know. We didn't
That's
plan
not
that.
why we do this podcast, is it?
But we do share the exact same birthday.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can Beyonce now. Hot sauce in your bag.
I identify with Beyonce, so that's good. And now even more so.
Sriracha lovers, you too can go anywhere with your sriracha.
And
or also, Sriracha last year started making like ketchup packet sachets, but of sriracha.
Oh, that's good.
So you can get a sriracha sachet to keep in your wallet, and then.
But they are more susceptible to splitting, so this is more hardy for carrying around with you. Whereas you wouldn't want to necessarily carry a single sachet with you because it might split in your bag, and then you've got a problem, haven't you?
Shall we move away from the gift giving portion?
I don't know, because there's more of a taste element of the podcast for later. We could do it now.
Let's do it now.
What's next? Other than that,
let's do it now.
Okay, so for Christmas this year, I have a twin sister who I know as...
She also shares our birthdays, but
yeah, weirdly, who I know as Egg. She every Christmas will buy me some sweets, normally sour, or that sort of genre of sweet. Ones recently she bought me a few years ago were called Toxic Waste, and they came in a little like nuclear waste barrel, and I was like, they're quite sour, but they're not amazingly sour. So I had about 5 in one go, and my mouth hurt for a week. This year, she bought me a packet of Jolly Rancher Hotties, which I've never seen before.
I've never seen that before.
She got them in one of those American sweet shops that you get now in Brighton. I'll tell you what they've got in them. They have 4 different flavours. One.
I like how you had to count that.
Water, well, because there's some other stuff written underneath that I wasn't sure if it was a flavour or just some extra information. It's extra information, naturally and artificially flavoured. I mean,
obviously,
both. Yeah.
I'm not buying it for the healthy.
What's important here is there are green apple ginger flavour, cherry habanero flavour, watermelon cayenne flavour, and blue raspberry sriracha flavour. So I thought we could try blue raspberry sriracha flavour Jolly Rancher and see what we think. So there's one for you.
Oh, thank you.
This is going to make my beer taste really weird, but let's go for it. At the moment, I'm just getting raspberry. Mm-hmm. if anyone's not familiar with Jolly Ranchers, we probably should explain what they are, shouldn't we?
If they're not familiar with Jolly Ranchers, they can just
stop listening right now.
This isn't the podcast for you.
They're like boiled sweets, basically, aren't they? But they're American and they're really brightly coloured. They make your tongue go funny.
I only taste the
I'm not
raspberry.
getting any sriracha at the moment.
I don't taste any sriracha.
Well, this is disappointing, isn't it?
Should I keep going? And then if we get a hit...
Are you able to carry on with that? Is there maybe a little sort of taste coming in at the back of the mouth on the tongue?
It's negligible.
It is very negligible. Well, what I mean, I'm not going to pass judgment until I've finished it.
Oh, of course not.
But at the moment, it's not a huge success, is it?
No.
Maybe I should have put some of my sriracha from my little bottle on it.
I feel like the sriracha...
Hang on, is it kicking in?
It's right in the back of the throat.
Well, we might have to abort this episode.
There's a heat. But
There is a heat coming.
But
It's not. Are you saying it's not a specifically sriracha heat?
no, it's just a heat. But also it just tastes like sugar and raspberry. And then there's like this weird heat to it that just hits you in the back of the throat.
I quite like. What do you think of chili chocolate though? I really like chili chocolate.
Oh, I like chili chocolate.
But
I'm not
this
a
is
fan
not-
of. I'm not saying I'm not a fan of the flavor combination. I'm just saying that this is weird.
This delivery of it is not working for you.
Who, you know, who enjoys that deep heat?
No. Well, I don't know who.
Oh, maybe I'll start that over again because it's a weird way to. Oh, it hits you right in the back of the throat. Well, there's some people who love that feeling of it hitting you in the back of the throat. Should I say it again? Different way?
No, I think that's fine.
Okay. And those would be astronauts.
What are we saying about astronauts? What does that mean?
They took a bottle of Sriracha to the International Space Station.
Did they?
Yes. So astronauts like bold flavors because
Don't.
taste changes when you're in space.
Oh, right, okay. I thought you were being sort of...
No,
just
I'm
a
being
sweeping judgmental statement about astronauts.
So like during a call-in show like that they did with Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield / the best astronaut.
One of your heroes. Yeah.
Well, so Chris, who also...
Oh, yeah, first name terms, yep.
He's like, when you get to space, at first, food tastes really weird because of the gravity or the lack of gravity. So
I never thought that would be an issue.
usually when you eat, gravity takes the food and it puts it into your taste buds. But because you're in space and there's no gravity, the food then kind of tries to travel upwards and kind of go into your
Sounds
nasal,
like a bloody nightmare.
into your nose, and you're not tasting very much because
Okay.
you're more just kind of like swallowing, and it takes just a while to sort of get used to it. So they like to have really bold flavors so they can actually taste the food.
So, is this the like number one anti-gravity condiment?
Well, I've got the list of condiments they
Oh, good.
have aboard
Right.
the
Yeah.
ISS.
Did Tim give you this?
Yeah.
Or Chris?
Chris.
No, who was it? Chris.
Much like this podcast where you're trying to figure out what are the best condiments of all time, they have a list of about six, 7
Yeah.
that are up there that they've decided are
That's
the
too
most
many.
essential condiments for living in space. They include French's yellow mustard, Heinz ketchup, Fritos bean dip.
What the hell is that? That face doesn't come across in an audio format.
I don't know what that is. A sweet and hot mustard, a taste of Thai sweet chili sauce,
That is nice.
and
Sriracha.
Sriracha. A red rooster, Huy Fong Foods, Sriracha.
I'm interested that they've got two different types of mustard. I feel like this could be an entire episode on its own.
I know. I feel like we need to get an astronaut. If
Can we
anybody
have an
knows an
astronaut
astronaut that can talk to us about their condiment
Hopefully
usage
come
on
under
the space
Hatfield.
station, that'd be amazing. Yeah,
Space condiments
space condiments. So I feel if it is good enough,
for space.
it's gotta be good enough for us.
Is that your big mic drop moment?
Yep. I mean, I had another bit about how, like, you can buy a Sriracha-themed Lexus and it comes with 43 bottles in the trunk, but it doesn't really seem to be as good a finisher.
Do you know what?
as-
I don't think it is. And I think your argument, it doesn't suffer by adding that. So, but
A
you've,
footnote in history.
you've gone in at a very strong point. You've ended on a very strong point there, very high. I'm looking at that list. Your ketchups, your brown sauces, your English mustards, your BBQs, and your burgers. And we are currently lacking a hot sauce.
We are, very much so. And this is a very versatile hot sauce. It is good on pretty much everything.
Yeah. As we talked about on the vinegar episode, barbecue is currently there as a sort of an ore that we can extract vinegar from.
No. I'm sorry. I'm not letting you do this. On the last episode,
No.
I conceded that I would
hadn't
let
finished.
burger sauce go on.
Yeah, but you did that expecting me to let Sriracha take over. I didn't. I never
It
agreed.
is a collaborative list.
Yes, I
You're
know.
not in charge of the list. You're not the list keeper.
But as we've said, we do not have an arrangement for how we deal with disputes.
I think the arrangement is we have a podcast and some awkward eye contact until one of us caves and gives up.
Do you know what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
When I was researching, the burger sauce episode, there was suggestions that you could make a similar variant by combining ketchup and mustard. Mm-hmm. So, what I will concede is that we will remove burger sauce. That was short-lived. I enjoyed the time that you were here, burger sauce, but you know, some certain concessions have to be made for militant members of the podcast. What I will do is I will experiment with mixing ketchup and mustard, and the island will surely be home to loads of like fun spices and things that we can use for mixing up stuff when it.
I mean, the island is what it is. It's a made-up place. I think it's more.
It's
to be
everything
honest, I
I
think
could
it would be more
possibly-
realistic if it was like a space station where.
Well, we've done 10 episodes now. We can't suddenly go to a space station.
And also, the pun doesn't work if it's a space station. But I think that, like, again, the vinegar argument that we had in that episode is the same sort of argument that you can make for the burger sauce.
That's why I'm doing it.
You can't. I'm agreeing with you. You can't make sriracha. Like, sriracha is this.
Well, you can't make it from anything we've currently got.
Yeah, like it is a unique sauce, and I love Asian food. I love it. Like, I would be heartbroken if I didn't have a delicious, spicy Asian sauce to go with.
With your pineapple or whatever it is you're eating.
Yeah.
That would probably be
I
quite
bet
nice,
we'd-
actually,
I
wouldn't
bet that'd be probably pretty
Yeah.
good.
Well, you know, you're kind of getting ahead of yourself, because I was about to say I will accept the challenge of trying to make my own version of burger sauce by mixing ketchup and mustard and, I don't know, some other stuff.
Why don't you try it when you before we record the next
I've
podcast?
got other stuff to do.
Fine.
Um,
That is the commitment you're giving people.
burger sauce.
Other stuff to do.
Burger sauce can go, and it was nice while you were here, burger sauce, but
Just like cranberry, you had your time, you had your moment.
as I explained last time, I can quite happily eat burgers with ketchup and mustard
This is it.
on them.
It's a redundant condiment.
It's not redundant. It's just that
If you're only having 5 condiments,
I'm looking at the balance of what we've got there, and you've got, you know, there's an element of spice to the mustard, but it's a very different kind of spice.
completely different.
So-
If you put like mustard in your ramen, I would be
Give it a
upset.
So I will accept that burger sauce goes and sriracha comes on board. Also, I like the guy. What was his name?
David Tran.
He's a good guy. What I will say, I think I will make a condition about the sriracha going on the island is that you are not allowed to put it on your imaginary balls.
Agreed.
Accepted. On it goes.
Or actual balls.
Your actual balls. Yes. Okay.
Deal.
Done.
And plus, now we have a fun keychain.
Oh, yeah, I suppose I couldn't say no. I'd have to chuck that in the sea, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Well, buddy, what a productive adventure in podcasting.
Yeah. I've got all these sweets to eat. I've got this sriracha to eat on the way home. What a day.
Well, sriracha is safe on the island. where it should be. If you also keep hot sauce in your bag, get in touch.
Are you specifically addressing Beyonce with this?
Beyonce, get in touch.
We do have...
Or Beyonce, like, a likes.
Yeah, Beyonce, we will buy a new microphone, a third microphone, if you agree to come on our podcast. How about that for a deal?
That is a sound investment.
Okay.
She can find us on Desert Island Dip on Twitter, singular dip.
Desert Island Dips on Facebook and on email, desertislanddips@gmail.com. Any questions, any comments,
feelings of injustice,
any suggestions? Did I say that already?
I think that goes into comments.
Yeah, probably. Any recorded messages about how much you love the podcast in a Sriracha style, we'll take those. But we don't want to know about you putting our podcast on your testicles.
No, thank you.
Thank you very much. Keep that to yourself. That's probably it, isn't it?
Just send us your loving messages. We don't want your hateful ones.
I think this is starting to cross over into begging now.
Validate our existence, please.
Right, well, that's all we've got time for this week. We will be back next time with another journey through the world of condiments.
And
looking for the good guys.
Another good guy.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
They're gotta be out there.
Yeah.
Bye.
Goodbye.